So what is a recent change in your industry people should be aware of?
Well, actually, there's been some legislation out there that has just recently passed by the Department of Labor that really affects retirement accounts and how investors and financial advisors will work together. And it's basically a rule that really is ultimately supposed to put the interest of the investor, the best interest of the investor forward. And so there's just certain new rules and requirements and documentation that advisors will be required to take part in to make sure that the advice that they're giving to the retirement investor is in their best interest, and they're getting good advice. So, and that actually starts today, actually June 9th, kind of an abbreviated version of it, and then really January 1st of 2018 it goes into effect and law. So yeah.
If people are looking for a financial advisor, what should they look for?
Well, if they're looking for a financial advisor, one of the big things that they really want to look at is the experience that the advisor has. So asking questions about how long have they been in the industry, do they have any designations like a certified financial planner, those type of things. And then also you want to know how they work. Do they work on how do they get paid? That's another big question. Do they get paid via commissions or through fees? You also want to know what type of relationship they try to have with the investor. So with the client, how often do they meet with the client? What's the communication that they are using? Those are some really good things as well. And you also want to, and this is important, is check the background of the advisor as well. And there's a lot of easy ways to do that online through through our regulatory agencies. So FINRA is a regulatory agency for an advisor who's got a securities license. You can actually do a background check on the advisor, or also the SEC has a website where you can also check the background, and then it just will disclose if they have any client complaints or any what we call disclosures, if they've done something they should have done in the past. So those are really good things that someone should look at, and also to talk with maybe other people that might be a client. They might be willing to let you know about their experience, and what type of expertise that do they have. What do they focus on? Those are important things.
You're independent and local. What separates you from a larger corporate financial advisor?
Well, we're what we call an independent. So what that means is when we look at solutions for clients, we're not tied to a specific type of company or brand, if you will. And so that allows us to be able to look at the financial landscape and kind of pick what type of solution is in the best interest of the client. So that gives us the freedom to do that, being independent. Larger advisors, a lot of times they might be what we would call more captive, meaning they might be using more products that are specific to their company a lot of times. But really, the landscape's changed a little bit more, and so there's just a lot of different products and solutions and strategies available out there for clients.
What are the importance of an annual meeting and the husband and wife being involved?
Well, it's always important to have communication and meetings with clients just to kind of touch base with them to see what has changed, and also to be able to kind of let them know what's going on with their investments or other planning that you're doing for them. But because things can change so quickly with individuals and families throughout their lives, it's always good to kind of to recheck, what has changed and see how that might be an impact to their financial situation, and if there's things that maybe need to be done. It's also really important to try to, have families all engaged. A lot of times traditionally you might see where maybe just one of the household members is involved with doing that, but we find it's real important to try to educate everyone so they know what they have and what type of financial planning's been done. So in the example, if something happens to one of the family members, the other one's not, I guess, left in the dark. So we try to engage clients to get them involved and educate them, throughout the process, throughout the relationship. That we think that's really important.
Based on the experience you have, what are the blind spots people run into on planning for retirement?
I think one of the big things is that people don't save, they don't start saving early enough. A lot of times what you find out in maybe your working career once you are out of school is that it's always, well, I'll save for retirement later. And really, time is the best thing you have on your side. So the earlier you can start saving, the better. The other thing is, a lot of times people say, well, I have Social Security, I have other things that will kind of help me. And that landscape's changed quite a bit. And I think there's been more urgency that's put on the individual to do what they can for themselves and not rely on other type of programs like Social Security. There'll probably be some regulatory changes or legislation on that down the road that people have to probably be prepared for. And the other thing that's changed is, people that are retiring now, their parents had maybe pensions from maybe their employer. Those have kind of gone away, and so again, that's put more pressure on the individual to take advantage of saving for themselves. So the earlier you start, the better. And it's important to get advice from a financial professional. Don't be afraid to do that on, am I going about this the right way? And kind of the last part is that people are living longer. So advances in the medical fields is good, and it's allowed the life expectancy of people to be longer, but what that means is you have longer to spend your money, which can be an issue if you haven't saved enough.
Thank you so much for coming on board as a student sponsor. What are your thoughts on the program?
I really appreciate the chance to share how I feel, my philosophy of business, and what's important to me, because Negley, the folks have a lot of choices of where they can buy a vehicle and get it serviced, and I think our difference is the way we go about our business, and I appreciate the chance to get that message out.
What other community events are you involved in?
We give back a lot. That's part of our mission statement. We give back throughout the communities that we serve, and so that's very, very important to us. We have been for the last 20 years a very committed United Way supporter. We strongly support Relay for Life, and by the way, that relay in Williams County comes up next weekend, so we're very excited about that. Rotary, Chamber of Commerce. We're involved in a lot of different ways, in addition to not just financially, but also of our time. We go out and clean up a 3-mile stretch of road. We coach local teams, so we try to give back throughout the community.
Thank you so much for all you do in the community.
It's my pleasure, Negley.
Thank you so much for becoming a student sponsor.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Melina. I think it's great that you guys, as students and younger people, are involved with this and help facilitate it.
What other community events are you involved in?
Well, we like to spend time and give back through the United Way, through Toys for Tots. We often will do at least once a year, like a food drive or food pantry drive, a diaper drive. At least once a quarter, we'll try to give back in one way or another.
Thank you so much for all you do for the community.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Melina.
Now, Brittany, you've been involved in the ABEX program for 3 months now. What are your thoughts on the program?
It's definitely helped me boost my confidence a lot. I've met so many great new people in my community that I never would have had the chance to meet otherwise. It's really just been great for me overall.
And would you recommend this for other students?
Oh, definitely. If you ever want the chance to get out in your community and really just meet new people, it's a great opportunity to do that.
And Ann, we want to thank you so much for being one of the sponsors, Spangler Candy being the sponsors of this program. What are your thoughts on the program?
Well, it's great to see the young people out doing stuff that gets them involved in the community.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.